Well, hey YouTube, welcome back once again to Photoshop Elements TV. I'm your host Jack, and today, I'm sure the title or the thumbnail always gives it away, we are going to be replacing a sky on this particular photo that I have up here on the screen right now for you. Now, many times you take pictures and it was a really beautiful blue day, but the sky, for whatever reason, whatever focal length you're using, may get blown out. Okay, this is actually the top of a lighthouse. And when I took this picture and I came home and started looking, I didn't have any sky detail. There's nothing up there. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to increase or add the sky so it gives it that really nice blue sky looking and filling. Okay. Now, the one thing I can tell you is sometimes these are little quicker edits when I'm showing you this, and I don't go into great detail of cleaning it up, but take your time with this edit and make sure you clean up all your edges. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So we have two photos. I have the photo that we're be putting a new sky in. And then I have a photo here that you'll see of the lighthouse itself. And let me just go here to select and deselect. And this is the actual sky that we were looking at. So this is the actual same day and everything that this photograph was taken. And when I got close, I shot from ground up. This is what I got. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this sky into this photo. Okay, I'm going to walk you through these steps very slowly and show you how this is done. All we need to do from this initial photos, from whatever photo you're using for your extraction, we're going to copy out, not extract, but copy out some of the sky here. So I'm going to select, use my selection tool here, and I'm just using the rectangular marquee tool. I'm going to start at the top, and with my mouse, I'm going to left click. And what I do is just drag towards the bottom where you want to go. Okay, let's drag to about here. Right there on the right, and we're going to leave the mouse go. Now we have that selection made that we want to use for the replacement. What we're going to do next is we're going to click on Edit, and we're going to copy that. That's all we have to do with that picture. But I'm going to use the tabs here at the top of my photo bin, and I'm going to click on the next picture. All you have to do here, first of all, I would suggest if it's sized larger than this, resize it so it fits your screen because you want to work with the entire picture. We're going to go to, first thing we're going to do is duplicate this background image. So on your keyboard, use either Command J on a Mac or Control J on your Windows machines. You can see now we're working with layer 1. Layer 2, you can leave it viewable or not. You can turn it off. It doesn't matter. Make sure you're selected on layer 1. I get a lot of emails that say, look, Jack, I tried to do this and it's just not working and I can't work with the image layer because you might be clicked on the wrong layer. When we're working with layers, we have to click on the layer that we want to work with. Come over to your photo, go up to Edit, and click Paste. Now you can see where we got the new one on here. I'm going to go back over off my selection. And we'll click on the Move tool, or you can just simply hit your letter V, and that'll put you on your Move tool. Keyboard shortcuts are really your friend when you're doing photo editing. It makes things a lot easier. You don't have to click around the menus as much. Now we notice that we have a new layer. You can simply go on this layer, and you can rename it if you wish. Just go to Rename Layer, and we'll call this Sky. All right. We can rename the first layer. We can maybe rename that to, we'll just say Lighthouse. There we go. Then you always know what the layers are doing because we can really, later on down the road when I'm teaching more Photoshop elements, we're going to get more and more into layers and we're going to get these really stacked up here. So you have to be careful and know which layer you're on. The first thing we're going to do with this is we're going to resize it. The best way to resize it is, again, grab by the top corner. I'm on the left top corner here. I'm going to drag over. I'm going to drag this over to meet the corner of that photo. The next thing I'm going to do is drag the right corner, the right lower corner, and I'm going to drag down. All right. Don't worry if it's going over your photograph. That's okay. We're not really concerned too much about the overlapping part of it. Click the little check box. We're going to secure that. And there we go. It's secured. So now you're thinking, well, Jack, how am I going to work with this? Because now I can't see the underlying photo. Here's a little trick that we're going to do, okay? what we're going to do is we're going to first click on that sky again. Make sure you clicked on it. We're going to click on add a layer mask. Now we have a layer mask for our sky. Go back over. Okay, go back over to the sky. I just clicked on it. Go to opacity and let's lower the opacity. And when you do that, now it's almost like looking at tracing paper, right? Remember the old tracing paper we used to lay on comic strips, or maybe I don't know how old you might be, but all right. So there we go. So now what I'm going to do is make sure I'm clicked on the layer mask. I'm going to make sure I'm clicked on the black color. Okay, remember, black reveals. Go over and grab us a brush. And we're going to just start painting with black of the things that we want to show through. Okay, not the sky itself, just the lighthouse. So we're clicking on the lighthouse here. Okay. And we're just going to cross the lighthouse as careful as you can be. All right, good on the side. I do, and many times you'll hear me on these videos talk about the Wacom or the Wacom tablet. I like using a tablet with the stylus when I do this, but right now I'm just kind of free-flowing here with a mouse. Just kind of working my edges. Take your time. I would suggest to make your brush size smaller. Remember the left and the right bracket keys, okay? The right bracket key makes your paintbrush larger, and the left bracket key makes it smaller. If you're not sure of those commands or those keys, you can always come down here in the bottom and you can just raise your brush up or down, okay? But I like to use the keyboard. It makes it a little easier for me. What I want to do first is I go along all the edges. I just go along my edges here. And I go back up. And what I try to do with the brush is try to stay on the inside edges more than the outside edges. Right? Brushes tend to always want to ride out a little bit. So just stay on the inside edges. You can see I'm just following through here. I'm now on the right side of this photograph. All right, go up on top of this lookout here. Go across the top. A lot of this is hand-eye coordination because you're watching on the picture and you're moving your hand with your mouse. So you never really have to look at your mouse. That's what I'm saying. Now, what I like to do next is, once I get them, I don't want to use this little brush the whole time to do this, right? That doesn't make sense because now I want to reveal everything in there. So I'm going to use my right bracket key. I'm going to make my mouse size bigger. And I'm just going to start painting over the whole entire inside now of the lighthouse. And all I'm doing this, I'm not really painting black on here. I'm not painting anything. But if you look at our mask up here, you can see that there's black marks on it. So black reveals and the white hides. Black reveals, white hides, right? It's probably pretty much the opposite of what you're thinking, right? We think if we paint it with black, it would cover something up. It's darker, but that's not the way it works with a mask when you're working with a photo mask, okay? All right, so there you go. And we're going down here on the left, crossing back on the right. That looks pretty good. For being freehand, that does not look too bad at all. Now all we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we're clicked back on that layer, go back to your opacity, and let's run it up to 100%. There you see, now we have the sky coming through, a very nice looking sky. It looks like it was there the whole time. Now, the reason I told you to use a net mask, a lot of people email me and say, well, you could use an eraser for that. You could, but then you couldn't fix it. So now I can go in here with black again right here. And I can paint over where I maybe missed. You can go down and switch to white. So you click your color palette switcher. All right, your color palette, your foreground switcher. Switch it over to white. And now watch it. Watch in this upper corner up here. If we paint with white, it'll actually hide it again. All right. Now if you mess up, that's okay. Just switch back over to black. And we go right back down there again and reveal that. All right. So again, like I said, it gets very, very tedious work here. That's why I like using a stylus on this stuff, but that's okay. You can definitely use a mouse. I've used a mouse for years on photos, and it works quite well. Switch it back to black here. Up here. All right. And if I actually look at edit, image, enhancer, layers. Okay. That's really all we need to do. Now, the way to close this out, many people have argued, many or have told me about it. Sometimes I'll show you an edit and I don't show you how to actually finish the edit. But if you look over here, there's a little bit of white left. Now, let's do this with white. Make sure your edges are good. If you see a little bit of white on there and you can't get rid of it, what I would suggest to do is to do a quick crop on it. So we're going to use the cropping tool here. And we're just going to pull in a little bit from the right side here to get rid of that white line. Okay, and there you go. Now, once you're finished up, obviously you cannot take a photograph to your local Kinko's or Walmart or wherever you get your pictures developed and expect to print it off if you save it as a photograph file, right? So if I go here and go save as, I can't save it as a PSD file because that's our working file with all of our layers in it. So we want to change this. You can use either JPEG or TIFF. TIFF is going to be bigger. JPEG is compressed. Okay, JPEG. I'm going to include this in my organizer because I got this photo fixed now and I kind of like the way it looks. And we're going to put on here top of lighthouse, just like so. We're going to save it in Erie. That's fine. And then we click save. Once you do that, you're going to have this little box pop open, this JPEG options. What you want to do is, if you're going to have this for the web, number 5 quality is good, number 1 megapixel. But we want to print this baby. So I want it to be 12. It's going to be 10.6 megas, so it's a good size file. Click OK, and that's going to save it out for me. And now I have that actually saved, and it's also stacked in my organizer. So I have it in 2 different places. Well, folks, I hope this helped you to replace your skies, and you can use this on any photograph. I've used this with people, landscapes, whatever. You can use this same, few steps to replace your sky and put a much better sky. And even if a sky was shot another day, I've done that before. Folks, thank you so much for watching Photoshop Elements TV. If you're not subscribed, please click that little subscribe button. I would appreciate it. Tell your friends about that are also taking pictures out there to come along for the ride here at Photoshop Elements TV, and we'll learn as you go. Until next time, remember, keep the shutters clicking, keep the editors editing, and I'll see you back here very soon on Photoshop Elements TV. See ya.